Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another round of music finds. I am back in full swing of picking up music. I've had some things change. I've got a new job, which has been very helpful. And yeah, a lot of great music has come my way. A lot of reissues, especially from Real Gone Music. If those of you that know Real Gone know they have a great reissue campaign. Um, yeah, I've got a few things here, so let me just jump right into it. These first three are CDs that I picked up at a um, music store called Plan 9 Music in Charlottesville, Virginia. The first is going to be The Mountain. This is Steve Earle and the Del McCoury bands. The Del McCoury band, traditional bluegrass band, but they have a lot of progressive elements. The members of the Del McCoury band are called the Traveling McCourys that tour independently outside of playing with Del, their father, and they play all sorts of progressive tunes. They play Grateful Dead music, but this is a really cool album. It's got the original tunes by Steve Earle, again, singer songwriter. You would know him from Copperhead Road, Guitar Town. His son is Justin Townes Earle, and this is a really cool record. I know my friend Glenn Kellaway really likes this CD, so happy to have that. It was like $2. Also picked this up. I was missing Brian Wilson, Imagination. This is from 1998. Really good record. He does a version of Let Him Run Wild, which was a Beach Boys tune. There's the track listing there. Brian looking dapper on the back. Again, this is, later day Brian Wilson, but, he would still have another almost 30 years of playing. But yeah, just really good songs. I mean, it's great Brian Wilson production. He sounds really good. The band sounds really good. So happy to have that to fill up Brian Wilson in my collection. This was originally released as a Record Store Day issue earlier this year. I wasn't able to go. It was on colored vinyl or something, and then they reissued it as a CD. This is Marty Stewart, Roger McGuinn, and Chris Hillman doing the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album by the Byrds in its entirety from 2018. I got to see this tour in Roanoke, Virginia. That was a really cool time. It's my favorite Byrds album, one of my favorite Byrds albums, one of my favorite albums of all time. Love Marty Stewart as well. He's one of my favorite artists, so it was a match made in heaven. But they also do, traditional Byrds tunes like So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, Mr. Tambourine Man, 8 Miles High, which apparently at this show was the only time they performed 8 Miles High on that tour. Uh, I'll Feel a Whole Lot Better, uh, Mr. Tambourine Man, Wasn't Born to Follow, Time Between, Mr. Spaceman, My Back Pages. So really cool. It's on Friday Music, a record label that I talked down. Um, they are not a very reputable company, but I had to get this because I was at this show and I've been wanting this in some format. Very overpriced, ridiculously overpriced. It was $25 for this, 24 songs, so you're paying a little over $1 a song. Ridiculous. So overpriced. Shame on you, Friday Music. Negative reviews for that, but it's a good mix of music. And then I just got this in the mail today. I have not listened to it, but this is the latest from Van Morrison. This is New Arrangements and Duets. This is essentially what it says. It's a bunch of duets with artists. You have Willie Nelson on here. You have Kurt Elling on here as well. Joss Stone is on here. Again, Willie Nelson. Um, yeah, so uh, several guest singers on here. So they're old songs. Apparently, he's going to be really pushing out a lot of archival stuff. So a lot of the stuff was recorded between 2014 and 2019. But I mean, you have songs on here like Avalon of the Heart from Avalon Sunset, Close Enough for Jazz, I'll Be Your Lover Too from Astral Weeks, Someone Like You. He also does newer songs like Broken Record, Ain't Gonna Moan No More. Uh, yeah, so excited to listen to that. And that does it for CDs. I did get A45 on Discogs. I didn't know that this existed until my buddy Rich Strickler and I have been going through a series on Tom Petty, and I didn't realize that there was a single out there for the Mudcrutch tune Trailer, which is actually a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers tune that was re-recorded. But it's a 45 with the B-side being Beautiful World, the song by the drummer Randall Marsh on the Reprise record label there. So didn't know if this existed. Apparently it was a record store day thing back in 2017, before I was into records. And yeah, happy to have that. It was like $6, so nice to add that to the Tom Petty collection there. All right, now to the main event of vinyl records. So my dad, who's always very generous with occasional gifts that he just gives me out of the blue, he bought me this album. This is one of Dad's Desert Island discs. This is one that he would take with him, if he had to pick 10 records to take with him on a desert island. This is Diana Krall's album, The Look of Love. It's Diana Krall, as you know, jazz pianist. She's the wife of Elvis Costello, for those that don't know. But she does fantastic arrangements of, songbook tunes. She does wonderful I Remember You, Cry Me a River, Besame Mucho, The Night We Called It a Day, The Look of Love. Just really, really solid production. This is a 2016 reissue, I think. And I remember Dad playing this when I was a little kid. He had it on CD. So I'm happy to have this on double vinyl. It sounds great. And yeah, Randall Nelson, I am looking at you. If you don't have this album, you should get it. It's right up your alley. So thank you, Dad, for that. A couple of new records. I picked this one up. Came out a couple weeks ago. This is Willie Watson's official debut, although he's recorded a couple of folk traditional albums. If you don't know Willie Watson by name, you might know him as being a former member of the Old Crow Medicine Show. He left, I think, in 2011 after their Carry Me Back record, and was a founding member of Old Crow. He's still missed. He still plays with the guys, but this is an album essentially of original tunes. I think there's one cover and maybe one that's like rearranged, but it's produced by Gabe Witcher, who plays in Punch Brothers with Chris Thile, and then also Kenneth Pattingale, who is half of the duo the Milk Carton Kids. But came with a really neat inner sleeve there. And you also have Benmont Tench from the Heartbreakers plays on a couple of tracks, which is kind of cool. Gabe Witcher's on here, Kenneth Pattingale. So really neat to have this. It's a great record if you like songs of heartache and, kind of old time singing. Willie Watson he's the real deal. I'm actually going to get to see Willie in December for the first time, so I'm excited for that. So Willie Watson with a new great record. I also picked up Indoor Safari, the latest by Nick Lowe and Lowe's Straitjackets. This is Nick Lowe's first album in, I think, 13 years since he put out a Christmas album called Quality Street. So first album of fully original music in a long time. It is a mix of brand new songs and then songs that were re-recorded that he had put out like on like EPs and that kind of thing. So you have 12 new tracks. They're all really, really good. I'm going to do a review on this at some point. But it's really, really solid. There's Nick looking very cool. And then, sorry about that glare, but Lowe's Straitjackets. There's Chris Sprague, i.e. Gringo Star, the drummer who I actually got to interview a couple months ago. And was a really nice guy, talked about the record. And this comes on what they call bamboo colored brown wax. And it does sound really good out of Yep Rock Records. So Indoor Safari by Nick Lowe. Check it out. And then okay, I'll do this. I have 3 reissues that came out this year, all from Real Gone Music. And I've shown some records in this series in the past. This is a fake group essentially called Frankie Stein and his Ghouls. It's essentially a bunch of studio musicians that played like garage surf rock kind of music, instrumental music for teenagers to dance to at parties essentially. And so they put out a series of Halloween based records that had all sorts of sound effects, Monster Mash kind of stuff. But the music itself is really good. I mean, if you like surf rock kind of guitar ventures, you'll really like this. But yeah, they have, you know, fun little nicknames for the songs, like All Choked Up, Dressed to Kill, Melancholy Monster, that kind of stuff. And it comes on really, really, really cool uh, splatter here. Obviously, the camera does not do it justice. I think this one was one of 900, that particular variant. So I was happy to snag that, as I'm now a completist, I think, from all of those Frankie Stein records. And this was the other Frankie Stein that I picked up. The first one was called Monster Melodies. This one is called Monster Sounds and Dance Music. So there is that cover. Really cool covers. And this was, I think this was one of 100. And it was hand marked there, number 15. And this was also on cool looking wax here. Again, all the records are about the same in terms of quality. But the music, there's not one that's like, oh, that's the masterpiece of the bunch. They all sound the same, but they're cool to have if you like that kind of thing. So there's that. And then I just got this in the mail today. This is I think it says first time reissue featuring Rod McEwen's hit The Mummy. So Chris Prophy, I'm looking at you. I think you probably have this. Songs Our Mummy Taught Us, Bob McFadden, and Door. So you have Rod McEwen on here. And yeah, I don't know much else about it, other than, you know, it's more like kind of cheesy monster music from the late 50s. So I'm very, very happy to have this. I have not even opened this because I just got it in the mail. And then lastly, Real Gone Music had a huge sale. It was like an end of year or a once a year clearance sale is what it was called. And I think I got these records for like $5 a piece, no more than 7. So this was a really cool deal. This is the complete Atlantic and Reprise singles by Little Richard. These are B-sides and lesser known cuts. It's a lot more. There's a couple of gospel songs on here where he's singing that baritone voice versus that kind of squeal voice that he had that the Beatles loved so much on that really nice red vinyl on Reprise Records. And yeah, just good stuff. He does a version of I Saw Her Standing There by Lennon McCartney. He also does Dancing in the Street. So yeah, Crying in the Chapel is the first song, which Elvis had a big hit with. So that's really cool if you can still find it. I got my first pieces of vinyl from the Black Jazz label. My buddy Alex at Beer and Vinyl always talks about the Black Jazz label, and so I trust his judgment. This is Rudolph Johnson's Spring Rain. Now, if you like John Coltrane and you were kind of bummed that, you know, he didn't make it into the 70s, well, listen to Rudolph Johnson, because he, as the liner note says, picks up right where John Coltrane left off. If you like that sound, kind of free saxophone sound, this is the one for you. Really, really love that Black Jazz label. So cool. And yeah, this was kind of a gamble buy for me. And really, really like having this in the collection. So Rudolph Johnson. This is one that I had not listened to. This is Gene Russell, who actually created the Black Jazz label, if I'm not mistaken. I think Alex can correct me on that. But this is Talk to My Lady, also on the Black Jazz label. He has a version of You Are the Sunshine of My Life, My Favorite Things, the Rodgers and Hammerstein tune. Yeah, he does a couple of originals, Talk to My Lady, Get Down, and If You Could See Me Now. Oh no, excuse me, he just does narration. Blues Suite is one that he's written. So I know nothing about this record. Just very happy and excited to listen to it when I actually have the time. And then lastly, this is one, again, kind of a blind buy from Real Gone. This is Doris Troy sings Just One Look. She's the writer of that song that the Hollies made famous. She had a smash hit with it. This is from 1963. Again, this is a reissue on green wax with that cool green Atlantic Reproduction label. But yeah, she was a great singer. I mean, if you like, you know, early like Diana Ross, that kind of stuff, it sounds kind of like that. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is original stuff. What You're Gonna Do About It is a good song. Bossa Nova Blues, Just One Look. Somewhere Along the Way, the old standard. Um, yeah, so really, really cool. And some really great liner notes as well on the back of that. I really enjoyed listening to this. Short and sweet record, you know, 2.5 minute, 3 minute songs. But yeah, there you go. Those are all of my finds for the month of September. Again, I don't show VCLT or anything like that. I've already shown it. I got some great gifts from Matthew Street and from Elliot Cruz and from Adam at What the Gym. So I am always overwhelmed by the love that I receive here on YouTube. It is, you know, very much appreciated, and I don't take it for granted. But anyway, let me know what y'all think of these. Let me know if you hopped on the Real Gone train, hopped on the Real Gone, and yeah, let me know about some of those other records that I might not have said everything that needs to be said. All right. In the meantime, y'all be good. Take care. We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye now.